Today begins the day that we will embark on our final project for the Elements of Music unit that we've been studying for a whole quarter already. It's all finished. We've just finished our last element this week and we're ready to begin. So we're going to start with a worksheet that you're going to be filling out. This is going to be basically a way to get you ready to do your project with inspiration. And this is your note taking for today. This is something that you'll be working on using your notes, using your resources, or using your brain, and using any information that you can find from your assignments that you've turned in and have been graded and turned back to you on Gaggle. Hopefully most of this is still all in your brain and you'll be able just to recall most of it without having to look it all up. We'll begin by going to the T drive for your music class, and in the read folder is where the assignment exists, the blank Elements of Music worksheet. We're going to open this. This is a Word document, and this is going to be your worksheet for today. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that you put your name on the worksheet so that way it won't get lost or turned in without a name. So go ahead and start with your name. And let's look at the instructions. It says follow along with the lesson and fill in your notes in the outline below. The numbers are for the elements, the 8 elements of music that we have studied so far this year. And when I'm talking about the numbers, I'm talking, of course, about the actual numbers on the paper. The letters A, B, and C are for examples of each element, and those are the letters. And so you will have 3 examples for each one. When you're finished, you'll save to your documents with your name in the file name, and then, of course, turn it into the T drive turn-in folder. So I'd like to go ahead, and take a look at the elements of music. We've been going over these in class a lot, and really a lot this past week, and reviewing all 8 of the elements. So we're going to go over those together so you can be prepared to fill these in on your worksheet. The 8 elements of rhythm. We've gone over these and I've asked for volunteers. I've asked for you to give me examples. So I know that you know these, so we're going to go ahead and do them together. I'm not putting them down in any specific order. So I will just go ahead and get started with number 1. For number 1, well, okay, maybe I am going to do a specific order. I actually really like to do them in the order that you learned them. So the very, very, very first, most basic element of music that we learned was the element of rhythm. Notice I put a hyphen. What comes next is up to you. The next thing that I need for you to do in your own words to write out what you think rhythm means. So right here, I want you to go ahead and type out a definition in your own words of what the element of rhythm means to you. We're going to go through all 8 elements first. The next element that we learned was the element of pitch. And just like rhythm, you're going to go ahead and type out a definition for that element. Putting rhythm and pitch together, we get the next element, and that is the element of melody. So go ahead and you'll also make a definition in your own words as to what you think melody means. After melody, we looked at the element of tempo. followed closely by the element of dynamics. Again, writing a definition in your own words as to what you think those two elements mean. The last three elements that we studied: harmony, form, and last but not least, the one that we just finished with this week, timbre. Spelled timbre, pronounced timbre. So go ahead, put those 8 elements onto your worksheet, and in your own words, you're going to put a definition. So we're going to push pause, and then when you're finished writing out all of your definitions, you can go on to the next step. Okay, so coming back, you've already completed all 8 elements and a definition in your own words. So we're going to move on to the next step, which is the letters A, B, and C. You are going to give 3 examples of each element. These need to be something that you come up with on your own. I'm not going to give you any answers to these. We've gone over several examples in class. There are examples in your notes that you should have in your binders, and also on any worksheets that you've done that are in your Gaggle email that I've sent you as they've been graded. When you are completely finished with each one of these examples, you need to then give a definition of each example in your own words. I'll give you one for instance. Let's say the element was rhythm, and you were going to use an example. Let's say one of the types of notes that you can use to create a rhythmic pattern. So you would write out the name of that note and then provide a definition as to maybe how many beats that type of note gets. When you have completely finished with everything, you then need to go to File, Save As, save to your documents with your name in the file name, and then turn in to the Turn In folder. Once you've completed this, Mr. Garinza will be teaching you how to use the Inspiration software, and then we will be creating a very interesting web of your outline that you've already created with pictures and audio and maybe even some video of ways to demonstrate that you know what each one of these elements mean and you have an understanding. So this is going to be our great project that we're embarking on, and I look forward to seeing and sharing all of your creations.